What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another video in my tutorial series for Java. Now today we're going to be talking about arrays, and what an array is basically a way for us to group the same type of elements together. Now what do I mean by that? So for instance, if we had a grades variable, so let me go ahead and create this int grades. And the way we create an array is with these square brackets right here. And this is how we tell our compiler that, okay, we want to initialize an array. And we're going to go ahead and create. And when we create an array, we're going to have to give it a size. And that's just how the syntax for an array works. So we're going to give it a size of, say, perhaps 5. So what this whole line basically states is the following. Okay, we're telling a compiler, okay, we want to create a variable called grades, and it's going to hold an array of integers. And how big is it? We want this array to be a size of 5, so it's going to be able to hold 5 values. Okay, now that's great and all, but how do we access these values, right? That must be what you're thinking. Well, the first thing you need to know is that arrays are zero based. So what does that mean? If we wanted to access the very first element of an array, we would have to do the following. Grades, the square bracket notation right here, and enter 0. Now this 0 is the index of the array, and we're saying, okay, for the 0th index of the array, I want to do something. So what are we going to do? Say we wanted to insert the value of 100 into the 0th index, the very first index of this array. So to prove that, I am going to print out the value that is stored in this grades variable right here in the very first index, the 0th index. I'm going to go ahead and run this, and you should see the value of 100 appear on the console, which is what we have right here. Now, like I've mentioned before, the array is able to store multiple values. So how do we go about doing that? Well, if we wanted to store something in the second spot, or the first index, or the 1th index, we put the value 1 here, and perhaps we'll store the value of 200 right here. And again, to prove that, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to print out the 1th index variable, the whatever is stored in the 1th index in grades. I'm gonna go ahead and print that. Let's see, and we get the value 200. Now, one thing I do want you to know is the following. So if we try the following here, grades 5. What's going to happen here? Well, it's going to give us an error, and the reason is because, remember, I said these arrays are 0 index. So what is 5 here? What does 5 really stand for? This would actually refer to the 6th element, which does not exist because we declared an array of size 5. So there can only be 5 elements in this array. So this would be an invalid statement here. Now I know this might be a little confusing for some, but trust me, this is an important concept for you to understand because I'm pretty sure you're gonna be using arrays a lot in your programming future, and the best advice I have for you is practice, 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 practice. Now the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is how you can instantiate these arrays immediately. So like we had with integers, for instance, we had int x equals 5. We assigned it directly in one line. Now how can we do it? Do the same thing with arrays. Now we have these curly brackets here, and this is where we insert our values. So perhaps we insert the value 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So now we have 5 elements, and if I wanted to access the first index, so I'm sorry, the 1th index, so this is 0. If we had grade 0, we would be looking at the 5 right here. But since we have grade 1, we'd be looking at 4. And I'm going to prove that. Let me run this, and we should get the value 4 on our console. And there we go. Now that is all I have to say for arrays as far as this tutorial goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.